Baking, the scent of yeast blooming in warm milk, a silent promise of life. The gentle yielding of flour under your fingertips. The rhythmic slap and fold of dough on a cool marble slab. These are the opening notes in a symphony of patience, a quiet prelude to the magic that is baking. In a world that hurtles forward, obsessed with instant gratification and next-day delivery, the kitchen offers a sanctuary of slowness. Baking, in its very essence, is an act of rebellion against the tyranny of the immediate. It is an invitation to embrace the spaces in between, to find profound beauty in the act of waiting. We begin with the simplest of ingredients: flour, water, yeast, salt. Alone, they are unremarkable, inert. But together, coaxed by time and temperature, they undergo a quiet, miraculous transformation. The first wait is for the dough to rise. We mix, we knead, we shape it into a smooth, expectant sphere, and then we cover it, tucking it away in a warm, dark place like a precious secret. And then, we wait. An hour, maybe two. In this interval, there is nothing to do. We cannot rush the yeast, we cannot force the gluten to develop. Our role is simply to be still, to trust in the process. It's a forced meditation. The mind, so often cluttered with to-do lists and anxieties, is gently nudged into the present moment. You might find yourself watching the motes of flour dust dance in a sunbeam, or listening to the hum of the refrigerator, sounds usually lost in the cacophony of a busy day. This is the first lesson baking teaches, the power of surrender. We surrender our desire for control and allow nature to take its course. We learn that growth, true and meaningful growth, cannot be hurried. It requires time, warmth, and a peaceful environment. The dough doubles in size, not through our frantic effort, but through its own silent, inexorable biology. Peeking under the cloth to see that pillowy, expanded form is a small, quiet joy, a reward not for action, but for inaction. The process of lamination, the heart of creating pastries like croissants or puff pastry, is an even more profound study in patience. It is a dance of chilling and folding, a meticulous layering of butter and dough that can span hours, even days. After the first fold, the package of dough and butter is wrapped and returned to the cold. The wait is crucial. The butter must firm up, lest it meld with the dough and the distinct layers be lost. The gluten, stretched and worked, must be allowed to relax. If you rush, the dough will resist, tearing under the pressure of the rolling pin. The butter will ooze out, a greasy puddle of failure. The process demands a rhythm dictated not by your schedule, but by the physical properties of the ingredients. Roll, fold, chill, wait. Roll, fold, chill, wait. Each interval of waiting is as important as the act of rolling itself. It is during these periods of rest that the structure is built. This is a metaphor for so many aspects of life: in learning a new skill, in building a relationship, in healing from a wound. There are periods of intense effort, and there are necessary periods of rest and integration. We cannot be on all the time. Pushing relentlessly leads to burnout and breakdown. The dough teaches us that rest is not idleness. It is an active, essential part of creation. It is during the quiet cool of the refrigerator that the potential for flakiness is locked in, that the foundation for a spectacular result is solidified. Think of sourdough, the Everest of patient baking. A starter, a living colony of wild yeast and bacteria, is not bought but cultivated. It begins with just flour and water, left to capture the invisible life floating in the air of your own kitchen. For days, even weeks, you must feed it, discard a portion, and watch. At first, nothing seems to happen. Then, a few sluggish bubbles, maybe a sour smell. There are days of doubt where it seems lifeless, and you're tempted to throw it all away. But you persist. You feed it, you wait, you observe. You learn its rhythms, its preferences for temperature, its unique aroma. This is not a mere recipe, it is a relationship. You are tending to a living thing. And when that starter finally becomes robust and predictable, tripling in size after each feeding, the sense of accomplishment is immense. It's a testament to your dedication, your attentiveness, and your unwavering patience. The bread that results from this starter carries the story of those weeks of waiting. Its complex, tangy flavor is something that cannot be replicated with a packet of commercial yeast. It is the taste of time itself, a flavor developed through a slow, natural fermentation that breaks down the grain, making it more digestible, more nutritious, and infinitely more delicious. The long, overnight proof in the refrigerator is the final act of waiting. As you sleep, the dough is slowly developing its character, its deep flavor and open crumb structure. It's a beautiful act of faith to go to bed, leaving your creation to its own devices, trusting that time will work its magic while you rest. The final wait is perhaps the most tantalizing. The shaped loaves or pastries go into the searing heat of the oven, the door is closed, and for a period, you are blind. You can only trust. You trust in your measurements, in your technique, in the heat of the oven, and in all the cumulative hours of waiting that came before. Then, the aroma begins to fill the kitchen. It starts subtly, a faint, sweet, weedy smell. It grows, blossoming into a rich, nutty, caramelized fragrance that is one of the most comforting scents known to humanity. This is the scent of transformation, the alchemy of heat on sugar and protein. You watch through the oven door as pale dough turns golden, then a deep, burnished brown. You see the oven spring, that final, glorious burst of expansion as the water in the dough turns to steam. It is a moment of pure theater. And yet, even when it emerges, crackling and magnificent, the wait is not quite over. The final test of discipline is to let it cool. To slice into a loaf of bread fresh from the oven is to ruin its structure. To release the steam that is still setting the crumb, turning it gummy and dense. The wait for it to cool, for the starches to retrograde and the interior to solidify, is an exercise in restraint. It is the final acknowledgement that the process has its own integrity, right to the very end. In this patient art, we find a powerful antidote to modern anxieties. We learn to appreciate the journey, not just the destination. The joy is not only in eating the final product, but in the entire unhurried process. The gentle mixing, the silent rising, the rhythmic folding, the fragrant baking, and the quiet moments of waiting in between. Each step is a mindful practice, a sensory experience to be savored. Baking teaches us that the best things in life are not instant. They are cultivated, nurtured, and patiently awaited. They are the result of a slow, deliberate process that respects the nature of the materials and the immutable passage of time. It connects us to a more fundamental, more human rhythm, a rhythm of sowing and reaping, of effort and rest, of patience and reward. In the waiting, we don't just create bread or pastry, we cultivate a sense of peace, a deeper appreciation for the present moment, and a quiet confidence in the beautiful, inevitable results of a process followed with care and respect. It is the profound, delicious beauty of slowness and the waiting.